Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Lynn, and today is a really fun episode of Meet the Designer. And in these episodes, I sit down for a one on one interview with one of my favorite crafty friends, and I'm super excited to be interviewing Yvette today. She is amazing. I've been a fan of hers for a very, very long time, and if you've ever watched Crafty Fun with Friends, you know she's on Crafty Fun quite often, so she's no stranger to our community, and I don't think I've ever really sat down to talk with Yvette about how she got started in crafting. A lot of times during Crafty Fun, we're just joking around and as we craft, but we don't really get deep into conversation. And so I'm really excited for this one. So welcome to our friends who are joining. At the moment, we're streaming out to my channel, which is LV Handcrafted. We're streaming out to Yvette's channel, which is Yvette Olea Creates. And as well, we're streaming to my Instagram. So wherever you're joining from, I can see your chats. So I hope you'll say hello in the chat. And as our interview goes, if you have any questions for me or for Yvette, please do pop them in the chat and I'll get them up on screen. So without further ado, let's welcome Yvette. Hi, friend. How's it
Hi.
going?
Not bad, not bad. A little warm in here, but I'll manage.
Oh, I just noticed your shirt says card making. That's cool.
Hold on. What
Card
am I?
making
Card
all
making all
day.
day.
I love it. Did you make it or
hmm Yeah,
nice?
yeah. I
So,
needed
so
to have
cool.
a shirt.
Is that your special like when I have to do face cam shirt?
This one, I have another one too. I forgot what the other one says, but I have two, so I can kind of switch it off.
That's so smart. I should probably do something. I have my Crafty Fun with Friends shirt, but I only have one of them. I guess I should make myself a second one.
Take a second. Oh, yeah, the space cam.
Well,
Oh.
yeah, neither of us are big fans of the face cam, but we're doing it for you all, folks, just for you. Susan says, "Love your shirt." Yeah, I mean,
Oh, thank you.
maybe we can get you to make some for us and then sell.
Oh, maybe.
Well, thank you for joining. As I mentioned, I'm looking forward to chatting with you and learning a little bit more about you as a crafter because we don't really sit for serious conversations on Crafty Fun. So,
A little bit silly.
yeah, so I feel like I get to talk to you kind of often through Crafty Fun, but like I don't think I know your current where you're at and what you're doing, but I don't think I know where you started. Um so we do have some questions that have been prepared in advance. These are the same questions I ask everybody during Meet the Designer. So let's get to know you a little bit better. How did you actually get started? I won't ask you when you got started, just how did you get started in paper crafting? Tell us a little bit about it.
I've always been real crafty and wanting to make things on my own. But as far as paper crafting, I think it started with scrapbooking when my oldest granddaughter was born. And she'll be 18 next month. So it's been a while. I did that for a couple of years and um, I just I like the creativity part, but I want to see instant results. And scrapbooking can take some time. And so I gradually I think I only completed two scrapbooks and then I was done. Then I kind of gradually I was looking through YouTube and seeing all these card making videos and I thought, oh, I can do that. That can't be that it's not going to cost me that much. I'll get some paper and some glue and holy guacamole. Oh, thousands of dollars later. Um,
Yeah. No
I really
exaggeration
can't.
either, I'm sure.
No, no, it's just like boom. For me, when I want to do something and I just need to do all the things. So, about, I want to say, 2015 or 16, I think 16, I got really into seriously, okay, I'm going to do this. I set aside a little corner of an extra room in my house. It was just a little corner. I didn't have that much. And started making cards, a few cards here for Christmas and for birthdays and, just to give to friends and family. And it just kind of went from there, it grew from there. And now I'm in the garage because I moved out of the spare room last week. Was it last week? Week before. Because my son came back from France and he's only here for a few months. So no point in him renting a place to stay. He can stay in the
Yeah,
spare room and I'm in the garage.
that's
So
cool.
mhm,
Interesting that you started with scrapbooking because I know so far I think almost everybody I've interviewed kind of started there.
mhm.
But interestingly enough, it was scrapbooking for your grandkids, but not your kids.
Not my kids. Nope. No, I was busy with my kids. At one point, I had three kids under three. Three under
Oh my
three. No,
goodness.
no. I was busy and I volunteered at their school and I worked and I went to school. I mean, I was busy. So no, and I hear it, like they had their little baby books, their memento
I hear
books,
it.
their little, but like the first one, my firstborn, her book is all completed and filled out. The second one,
Aw.
a little bit. The third one, a little less. The fourth one, so I hear,
Aw.
how come you didn't fill out? Look, you're lucky. I fed you, I clothed you, and I put a roof over your head. Don't ask for more.
That's too funny.
So
But so
yeah,
they had
very
something
busy.
though, 'cause they had like an album
They
or
have something, yeah.
something. Yeah,
Yes, they do
okay.
have an
Well,
album.
that counts. That's
And
close
yeah,
enough
I
to a
guess. I
scrapbook.
guess it counts. But yeah, it's hard when you have four littles, and then when they get to an age where sports get involved, then you're always at
Right.
practice. My son was always in two sports at a time, so it was usually baseball and soccer, and it was spring ball and winter ball, so it was practice and games all the time.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
took up my
So
time.
that's interesting. So when you got into card making, did you have a goal? Because you said it was to make cards and things to give. Did you
Hmm.
have a goal to like sell your cards ever or make money at
Not
this at
really.
all?
Not really. Where it kind of changed and my trajectory changed, where I started the YouTube channel and started thinking, okay, maybe I can make a little bit of money while I do this and I have fun doing this, was during our big lockdown. And
Right.
the
Yeah.
position I had worked for a school district for nearly 30 years and they were going to lay off my position. And so we got
Uh,
notified in June of 2020 that um, I was going to be laid off. They were laying off supervisory positions. So there were six of us. And so we were all going to be laid off.
okay.
And I thought, oh God, what am I going to do? I can't, I wasn't old enough to retire yet. And where was I going to start at all over again? So I
Yeah.
told my husband, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start this YouTube channel and let's just see where it takes us. And if I get something from it, great. If not, I'll have fun in the process. So I
Right,
did
right.
that and I started it. And then a month after they told us they were laying us off, they said, "Good news, we found money. You're not getting laid off."
Oh.
There's a little bit of behind the scenes that happened, but
Uh,
they didn't lay us off. So that was good. And then it became, oh, well, I already started this. And if you know me, once I commit to something, I, I can't not do it. I have to get it done. So it was like, I already started this thing. I got to see it through and we got to do it. So it became a little bit of juggling for the first couple of years of I was trying to get like one video out a week at that point and figuring out lighting and
mhm.
recording all this stuff you got to figure out. So that took me a couple of years to kind of figure out and get comfortable. When I look back at my first videos, I was I could hear the nerves in my voice. Like I'm more comfortable now, but I could
Yeah.
hear like I go back and listen. It's like, oh my God, I should take that off my channel.
Do you watch your old videos?
Sometimes I'll go back and look because
Oh
I'll
my
think, did I do
gosh.
something like this? And I'll go search and I'll look at it and I was like, oh, what was that about?
Oh my
So
gosh.
it was
I'd be
interesting, but
scared
it's
to
been
watch my old videos.
it's been interesting. What's funny is if I like my grandkids, they watch once in a while, my kids once in a while.
Oh.
And one of the what was it? I think one of our recent lives, I don't remember. My son was watching from France and I made a comment about something and boy did I get a text right away. Oh no, it was before we went live. I mentioned to you that I was going to have 4 kids in their 30s by mid-September. And the one that
Uh-huh.
was going to turn 30 in mid-September yelled from the other room, I'm not 30. I said, mid-September. I'll be 30.
Oh my gosh.
She's 30 now.
That's too funny.
So, yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I've met a lot of amazing people. I mean, this community is awesome.
Right.
It turns out one of the my crafty friends, and she's I think on a couple design teams with me. Rebecca, we went to the same high school, different times, but we went to the same high school.
No way.
So yeah,
What a
we
small
found that out. We were
world.
talking about something, and it was like, oh wow, that's neat. So
Oh,
it's been
that's
fun.
so
I've
awesome.
had fun. Mhm.
Rebecca on
And now
KCC,
that I'm
Rebecca?
retired, I can. Huh?
Rebecca on
Which one?
KCC, Rebecca? On KCC?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I
So,
didn't know
but
that.
no, that's fun. Mhm.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
she's awesome.
It's
So
amazing it's amazing the connections that you make. So, pretty
yeah,
cool.
but I've had
Um,
fun.
so how would you actually describe your style, and do you feel like that has evolved over time? You know, how is your style as a card maker, as a paper crafter?
So when I first started, I wanted to do all the things. And of course, I watched, all the big YouTubers, Christina Warner, Amy R. Savvy, Paper and Ink, and Jennifer McGuire. And I watched them. And then I kind of would try all the things, watercoloring. And I went and got Copic markers. And I went, which, is an investment and trying all these things. And so at first it was just kind of trying everything and seeing, okay, this I don't enjoy as much, or this technique, it's okay, but it's
Right.
not really me. Um, and like I told you, I need instant gratification. So for me, pattern paper. Oh, loved it. I just, if I had, and I have pattern paper galore. You can't see, but oh Lord. In fact, I went to Michael's today and picked up 2 more packs.
Oh my
But
gosh.
I know, I know. I have an illness, but once I found that I really enjoyed creating with pattern paper and ephemera, and then I could kind of add other things to it, But a lot of my cards, the basis is some sort of pattern paper, and I think,
Okay.
I mean, if you can call that a style, I guess. Um, I love working with pattern paper. I love working with card sketches, because then I don't have to think. Somebody else thought everything up for me. Um, and it's not that I don't enjoy coloring or any of those things. Those are fun. But when I can make a card in less than half an hour, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. Well, you are speedy. You did the full KCC in an hour's
Oh, I was
time.
racing.
So
Oh, I was racing. See, never challenge me. If you challenge me, I need to do it.
this is how we can get you to get stuff done. Just publicly issue a challenge. um But that's okay, so that's cool. I think that's a style is and that's, very similar to scrapbooking too, because a lot of
Yeah,
scrapbooking
because we use a lot of
is yeah,
pattern paper.
collaging, creating layouts and
Hmm.
using them as patterns and stuff. So it's kind of nice that that you've really developed that as a style, because I think crafting with ephemera I always feel is kind of hard. Um, because
Really?
I just sometimes I feel like it's hard to know like how to put them all together.
When to quit?
Cuz
Don't put 10 pieces on
well,
there.
that's why I like when the ephemera is big and I just need one. Cuz then I
Those
don't
are my
have to
favorite
like
pieces.
yeah, I don't have to collage anything.
Those are
It's
my
when
favorite
it's
pieces.
yeah, it's like cuz I used to watch Tina Smith and Desiree, like include a thank you or
Oh,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and they're so good because they used to do the 10 cards, one kit spellbinders videos, and they were very, very good
Those I
at
would watch a lot. The kit
yeah,
ones.
me too. Yeah. I watched so
Yeah,
many
and that's
kit
when I started buying kits and kits and kits and
same like the Tonic
not
Studio
using all the
kit,
kit. Yeah.
spellbinders
I did a lot
kits.
of the
I
Simon
used
Says kits.
oh yeah, I haven't done those. I
Oh,
did
I
Brutus
did
Monroe kits.
probably a
They're
year and a
good.
half of those, and then my
Oh
husband
wow.
says, "Are you using these?" And I went,
I know. I
maybe,
have
maybe."
like I have a wall of kits like Paper Cross Society, Pink and Vein, Spellbinders
Uh,
that I have
yeah,
not used.
I've
And what I do to make it feel like it's less is I've just taken them out and combined them so I have multiple kits in one box so it doesn't feel quite
oh,
it doesn't
oh,
feel
that's a good idea.
yeah,
Quite
so
as
it
bad.
feels like it's yeah, it feels like it's less, but I still haven't crafted. I've taken them out to reorganize it, but I haven't taken them out to actually craft with them.
Well, I
So,
found out I knew I had a lot of stuff. I know I have a lot of stuff. But when it came to moving all my things out of the extra room into the garage, I actually had to enlist the help of my grandchildren. And I said, "Okay, guys, you got to help grandma move stuff. Come on, bring it." And they're like coming
well,
back and forth. They're like, "Grandma, you have so much." And I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I die, don't let grandpa give everything away. I have a spreadsheet. You can tell him how much you can sell it
you have a spreadsheet. Oh my
for."
gosh, that's
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah.
Well, you do have an
Told
army
you,
of
love my spreadsheet.
grandkids.
I do. There's 10 of them. 10 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not
Yeah,
all
they
of
keep
them
me they keep me busy.
can walk yet, but
No, they all walk now. The 1-year-old started walking probably
oh,
about a few weeks ago, so she walks now.
oh,
So they all walk, and now she gets
oh,
into my stuff.
that's so sweet. How awesome.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
I kind of want to learn a little bit more about how you got onto design teams because part of this series is to understand, you know, what it's like to be on the design team. I feel like there's a lot of mystique and
Mhm.
it's like a
Yes.
secret society almost. I don't know about you. But I never knew like I consumed a lot of YouTube videos, watched a lot of crafting. I didn't know that
Mhm.
these were design team videos I was watching. And
Had
I didn't
no
know
idea.
yeah, okay, you didn't either. Okay, cuz I mean part of it is also that I was not plugged into social media and in the craft community and social media like Facebook, and so I didn't see like the little design team watermarks, and because I just wasn't in those groups.
Right.
Like I didn't know about those groups until I made it onto a design team.
That's
I
when I
just
knew. I had no idea.
okay. Okay, so I'm not the only
And I
one.
think it's probably a lot. Yeah. I think it's that I think a lot of YouTube viewers don't realize it. Um, Unless we
Yeah,
specifically mention it, like when we do a KCC super sponsor hop, if we mention,
right,
this is part of
right.
that we're on the design team, and if we don't mention it, then I don't
That's
think
a
they'll
good
know.
point. Yeah, that's a good point because I think you're right. Most of where I was getting inspiration was on YouTube, and nobody on YouTube,
Mhm.
well, when I was watching anyways,
Nobody
um,
said anything.
nobody said anything. And it's only recently now you have to do the paid partnership flag,
Yes.
and
Hmm.
um, yeah, okay, I think you're right. I never thought about that, but yeah, I think you're right. So then, how we already covered that. So just so that as we get started in kind of understanding your experience on design teams, um, so that we can kind of keep in mind, how long you've been on one and how many different teams. It helps to kind of shape or inform because everybody's experience is a little bit different. Everybody's
A little bit different.
journey is a little bit different. So, how many teams have you been on, and how long have you been designing? Either for company design teams or even like challenge blog type design teams, things like that.
So I had to look because I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I knew off the top of my head how many teams I've been on. I've been on four.
Okay.
And the first one that I started 2 years ago in September of 22.
Oh,
And
wow.
I remember, I don't know how I saw the design team call. And I remember asking my husband, should I try? Am I good enough? You know, look at these people on these teams. They're so talented. Look at the things they make. And you're always your own worst critic. And I've always been like
Right.
that. So, he said, well, just try. All they can do is say no. And I said, okay, I'll try. And so I submitted my application, and I got an email saying congratulations. And I thought, oh my God,
Oh,
now what?
wow.
Now what? And reading all this information, and then you get nervous. Oh my God, what am I gonna do? They accepted me. Now what?
Wow.
And so for about, I'd say maybe 6 or 8 months, I was on just that one team. And then um, I got an email um, from Lisha asking if I'd like to be one of her collaborators or on her we're the creative team now. And I had been following her and making her sheet loads, and I was like, oh my God, oh my God, So my husband, I
Aw.
got this email. Look what I got. Look what I got. So then I joined that team, and then I applied for another company, which I'm on their team now, so it's not too shabby. And I got on their team, which I have loved. And then I also am on Kendra's Car Challenge team. So when Kendra asked me, I just, again, over the moon, because I thought my stuff can't be good enough to be on these teams. And, my husband's like, but it is. And I said, no, but you just have to
Aw.
say that. You're my husband. And my kids are like, no, mom, it is. And no, you have to say that you're my kids. And, my grandkids, no, 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 you're my grandkids. So finally, my husband's like, you're good enough. If you weren't, they would not ask you back because, for design teams, it's a period of time. And I don't think
Mhm.
everybody knows that. So it depends on what company. So the first
Right.
company I was with that I'm no longer with was Cat Scrappiness, and it was fun. It was a fun team to be on, and that's where I got my feet wet, and that's where I learned a lot about design teams, um, and I was able to kind of figure out, what I liked, what I didn't about being on a design team, and from there, once I got my feet wet there, then I knew I could go ahead and do it again with other teams. And I've loved the teams I'm on. They've been fun. And I just finally allowed myself to just, okay, my stuff's good enough. My husband's right. If it
Aw.
wasn't, they would say, thank you, but you're not a match for us or whatever they would say.
Right.
So I was like, okay, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it as long as they'll have me. So it's
But
been fun though.
so
I've liked it.
have you basically made it onto every team you've applied for then? Oh, okay.
No.
I was like, wow, first one out of the gates and you landed it. That's awesome.
No. So after I landed that first one, I tried for a couple more. One company I didn't hear anything back from. It was
Yeah,
like
that happens.
crickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
And two other companies, they just, thank you for your interest, blah, 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 which I was fine with. I was like, okay, no problem. Um, Sometimes I think the bigger companies, the I don't know, more corporate companies, they're not small businesses necessarily. They look at how much revenue you can bring them, quite frankly. And so
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe that's I wasn't bringing enough views to my channel at that time. And I think at that time I still hadn't even hit 1,000 subscribers. So I completely understood. I was like, oh no, they don't. She's
Yeah.
a little channel. Wait till she gets bigger. But so I understood it and I was okay with it. And I just was having fun with the team I was on and enjoying what I could.
Okay, very cool. Well, that's kind of exciting to know, like just to have that background, to have that context as we
Mhm.
um, dive in a little bit more. So, um, what made you actually apply for that first team? Um, like, what did you have like a goal in mind for? Well, first off, I guess backing up a little bit, like, how did you discover that there was such a thing? Because you said that you saw a design team call, is that right?
I think there was a design team call. It might have been an Instagram or a Facebook post. Like with you at the beginning, my social media just wasn't connected to the crafty world. It just wasn't. And
Hmm.
so once I started connecting to different groups, you get to see more posts and you get to see more
Right.
variety. And I think I don't remember what group it was, but I saw a post and that's when I thought, okay, I'll try. And I did, and I got lucky. But now I see them. Now, I don't know if they're out there more or you just see them once you've been on a design team, you just see them more and you realize they're out there,
Yeah.
so but
So, so did you apply just out of curiosity, or did you have a goal like that you wanted the free product, or that you wanted the additional exposure to maybe grow your channel? I mean, what
well, I
were
didn't even
what were you
know there
hoping
would
to?
be free product.
Oh, really?
When I applied, I had no clue. I was clueless. So I just thought,
Really?
oh, I'll do a video for them and they'll give me a discount on their store or something. I had no idea. So
Oh,
really what
interesting.
I wanted to do was kind of just try different things and expand, my way of creating cards. Because I was finding myself kind of stuck in just the pattern paper. And I thought, I don't want to be stuck in that. I want to try all the things still and get a little better at them because, I do like watercoloring. It's fun. I do like Copic coloring. It's fun. Um, but I thought, okay, if I'm on a design team, I'll have to do something out of out of my norm. And
Yeah. Were
that was
you were
mainly
you
my goal.
were you already a customer of theirs, or? Oh, that's cool.
Nope. Nope.
That's really
So
good.
I just kind of went in, and then when they send you all the details, okay, this is what the expectation is, and this is what you'll get, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
I
it
don't
comes
have
with
to,
free product.
I did. Of course, he was excited because I wasn't gonna say, I don't have to buy stuff. They're gonna send me stuff for free. Of
Oh,
course,
that's
he still
so
have to buy paper
interesting.
and glue,
Right,
but
right. I
uh,
mean, it's not without cost, but you do get,
right.
you do get
But
the
you do
free
get
product
free
at
product.
least.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it's yours
that's
to
so
keep. So like, I still have all that stuff.
that's yours to keep.
You don't have to send it
It's
back.
intriguing. It's really intriguing
Mhm.
that you didn't get into the design team game for the free product, because I think
I had
that's
no idea.
kind of why a lot of us got into it. Um,
That was just a bonus for me. But
I
once
know.
then it's like,
Then you know,
oh, let me apply for this company and this one and that one.
right,
But
right. So then that's getting to like this whole. I love that that you've mentioned that because it does kind of go into that whole. This is like a secret society. There's like this mystique, this cloak
mhm,
over design
right.
teams and what they're all about, and how you get onto them and things like that. And I think it's helpful to hear about everybody's experience, especially because I I used to think that if I was trying to apply for like I would never in those early days, I never applied for a team that I wasn't already using their stuff because I kind
Mhm,
of figured they wouldn't want you if you're not a
mhm,
customer.
mhm.
And it's nice to hear you say that you hadn't used their stuff before. So really, and
Not at
as
all.
much as yeah, because as much as like we did a design team series where I interviewed company owners and they
Mhm,
said we're just looking for talent. We're like
mhm.
customers are
Yeah,
great. Some of our customers don't want to be like content creators and share. It's two
yeah.
different things. And
Completely.
yeah, and somebody who's talented can kind of work with whatever, they're
Whatever
given.
you get. Yeah.
Yeah.
You make it work.
So you make it work. Yeah. So I think that's
Mhm.
really that's fascinating because I've never heard anyone say that it wasn't for the free product.
Yeah, I
so
was surprised,
so
pleasantly surprised.
yeah, so for you it was the experience. It was for to
Mhm.
experience something new and to kind of break out of your current
My rut.
yeah. How
Mhm,
fascinating. That's
mhm.
so
Yeah, it was
cool.
fun. Yeah.
Danny says I didn't start for free product either. Oh, interesting. But did you
See?
know that free product was involved?
That's it. 2 different things. Yeah.
Yeah, I know because I was like, well, I definitely want the free product. um,
I mean, I won't
that's
turn it away.
right. No one's gonna say no to that.
Send it.
Um, yeah, that's fascinating. So the now that you've been on a couple teams, you don't have to name which one is your favorite, but what every team is a little bit different, and I'm sure
Mhm.
there's good things about them that are different from each other. But what's if you had to kind of pick something or a thing or two that's your favorite thing about being on a team that you didn't expect to experience, what would that be?
I have to say the friendships. Um, I really didn't, expect everybody to be so welcoming and so supportive. When I first got on a design team, I had no idea what to do. I had no idea. And so, when you're on a design team, there's usually, um, a company owner, for example, or the person that heads the team, and then they have someone that helps manage, like our wonderful Lynn helps manage KCC. So I had that person to reach out to and ask, hey, uh, when do I need to post this? When does what links do I need to share? I had a lot of questions, a lot, and I felt like I could reach out and just ask them. And I got to meet a lot of really, I call them friends now. I mean, there's people that I can chat with, not as part of the design team, and share, something that's going on in my real life. And so I think that's great, especially now that I'm retired, because I don't have that day to day interaction with my colleagues anymore.
Oh,
I'm retired. I'm home.
yeah,
And so
yeah.
I interact with a 3-year old and a 1-year old on a daily. So, I get, it's fun, but, I want to talk to grown-ups. And so I get to talk to these people. So I made some nice friendships, and I think everybody. in this community, I want to say at least the people I've had the the opportunity to connect with and work with have been so helpful, so helpful. And if I had one video I made and I wasn't real happy with it. And I was like, should I redo it? So I kind of sent it off to a friend, and she said, well, you might want to change this or that. So I was like, all right, redo. And I knew I wasn't
Oh.
happy with it. So redid it and sent it off. But I think
Wait, so
just
somebody on the
having,
same team as you?
mhm,
You got advice from? Oh, that's nice.
mhm, yeah.
Cool.
And I think that's the good thing that, um, while of course we're all trying to use our affiliate links and get all that out there, we're a true team, and that we support each other and we help each other, and we back each other up if if something happens, like somebody is under the weather and they can't meet an obligation. We're there to help them and back them up. So I think that has been my favorite part about being on design teams. That and the free
Mhm.
product. But
Now that you know it comes with free products.
now that I know.
Um, yeah. So to get everybody caught up, this is a Meet the Designer interview for anyone joining new. I saw, Sherry, your question, what products are we talking about? We're just talking about, what it is like to be on design teams, and not any products in particular or any companies in particular, but Yvette was saying that she didn't know when she first applied to a design team that it came with free products if you were on the team, which
So
is
green, so naive.
I, well, there are a lot of different teams out there, and not all of them do. Like usually, the company,
It's
like
true.
branded companies, will
Mhm.
come with free product,
Product.
but
Mhm.
there's other types of teams like Sheetload and Oh So Inspired and the
Mhm.
Christmas and the coffee,
Oh,
lovers.
5 teams. I
All,
forgot I'm on that team.
that's what I was thinking. I was like, I'm pretty sure you're on Oh So, but I was like, I didn't want to say. I was like, has something changed?
Oopsie, forgot about that.
Yeah. So so that's interesting. So now, do you have crafty friends in real life? I mean, it sounds like that's something that you've enjoyed from the design team experience, but do you have real life crafty friends? Not that we're
No.
not real people or any, we're not like your
No, no, no.
your
You mean
imaginary
in
friends.
person that we could go to each other's homes? No, no, there's no
Yeah.
one near me. Um, and I think, um, I don't know. I went to a yard sale a few months ago, and it was a bunch of women selling their crafty goodies. They were destashing their stuff. So I was going through them, and we were chit chatting and talking, and they had a women's club. So they've invited me to join the women's club. So hopefully, unfortunately, I couldn't make it to the last meeting, but hopefully this next meeting I can join, and then maybe I'll have some in-person crafty friends that I can make things
Yeah.
with. We'll see.
Well, but even if they're not like physically close to you, do you know like crafty people, or just in terms of like-mindedness, that you could be like, "Oh, I got this great deal," or that you can talk crafty stuff too.
My sister, she's
Oh,
not
okay.
paper crafting, but she's a seamstress, and
Right.
she's a wonderful cook, and she's the best auntie in the world. Um, she like I can call her and say, "Oh my God, I found this," and she gets it. And she'll call me through.
Okay.
I found this jelly roll of fabric, and it's like, "Oh, cool, that's so fun." Um, even though I don't like sewing, I can sew, but I don't like sewing. It's not my thing. It's not my
Yeah.
thing.
That's cool. I
So
mean, because
yeah,
I
my
do.
sister.
Yeah, I'm kind of in your camp where, I mean, I come from a tech background, so I worked at
Hmm.
Microsoft, and that's very, very far from crafting.
Very not
And
crafty.
very
Very
not
not crafty.
crafting. Yeah, so I feel the same as you do. I think that's definitely been one of the things that I've really enjoyed from my design team experience is just getting to know
Mhm.
um, other designers, other creators, other crafty people, and actually developing friendships with them,
Mhm.
and that's definitely been a surprise because I kind of that wasn't my experience on all the teams I've been on. So some teams are very like there's no talking really. You just do your thing.
Oh, wow. I haven't been on one
And
of those.
yeah, I mean I've been on like probably over 20 teams though. So I've
Wow.
like I mean that might be an exaggeration. I don't know. I've been on a lot of teams.
You've been on a lot, yeah.
And yeah, well not and well I didn't start like Danny did. I think Danny said 18 years ago was when she started on teams, design teams,
I mean,
which is extraordinary. So she probably can't even
yeah.
count the number of teams she's been on. um, but the dynamic is very different on every team, and
Yes.
I I think some are just more quiet. Like you kind of just
Do what you gotta do
do
and move on.
yeah, and
Mhm.
that's not a function of size either. I've been on small teams that are very quiet, and I've been on big teams that are because you would think that like the bigger the team, the less chatty it is because
Mhm.
you know
There's so
it's more
many.
people. You right.
Mhm.
It doesn't feel like you can have a casual conversation when there's like 200 people on the team. Um, but there's a very different dynamic, and I enjoyed them all for different reasons, but I never really expected going in that I would make friends out of it where like oh
Right?
once you're not on
Yeah.
the team anymore you're still connecting and chatting and
Mhm. Mhm.
so that yeah that's been pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
That's it.
so of course, there's always two sides to every coin. So we've heard a little bit about what your favorite thing is about being on the design team. How about the flip side of that? Because there's a lot of good stuff, and I feel like for a lot of crafters who do know about design teams, that it feels like oh that's the goal, to get there
Mhm.
as a
Mhm.
creator, as a crafter, and then it's all like once you're there, it's all like cookies and ice cream
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
um,
No.
so so in an attempt to kind of not disillusion anyone that it's because it is a good experience, but just to be fair
It is.
about like presenting the whole picture,
Mhm.
what would you say is your least favorite thing about design teams?
Um, I think I would have to say there's two things. So one was um, realizing that I needed to represent these companies well because my videos were going to be the face of whatever team I was on, whatever company that was. And so it was an added stressor in a way on am I doing this company justice? Am I doing a good job? Am I um, making them proud? Is this going to do what they expect as a design team member? And uh, um, you have to learn about that company and what the expectations are. Every company, every design team is different, like you said, and the expectations are different. Um, Another, I think, least favorite thing, and this may not be for all design teams, but some design teams are very organized, and you have a calendar and you know what's expected, and some teams can flip flop and say we need 3 videos. No, we need 2 videos. No, now we need four, and now we want it on this day instead of that day. That's um, that's difficult to deal with because I have a calendar. I have a calendar. Where's my calendar?
Oh, here we go. Super organized Yvette. Let's.
I have a calendar. And I write on there when a video is due. So, and then I backtrack, how many days, this is when I should be recording. This is when I should be
Oh
editing
goodness.
and upload it. Yes, I have a calendar. And if somebody changes a date on me, I just, that
Monkey
messed up my whole
wrench.
calendar because yeah, exactly. Because if I have, for example, let's say this week I had scheduled Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to record and Thursday and Friday to edit, but then a design team says, "Oh, we need a last minute change. We need a video by Friday." Well, that just ruined my plans for what I had scheduled for this week.
You're like, I have
So,
other things to
yes,
do.
so that can be, and I know things come up. I get that. It's just that's something. I guess I didn't expect that to happen because once I knew what design teams were, when I would see other creators, all you think about is, oh, look how easy that looks. I can do that. But there's a lot that goes into it that you don't realize. But if I had to do it all again, I still would, because there's a lot of good and bad that I can take from each of the teams I've been on that have helped
Yeah.
me grow.
Um,
I haven't even
you've
said
got.
hi to our friends. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. Show you the calendar.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who are loving that you use a planner.
But I
Danny
have on there that I
says
can't show you.
we're so similar that I just got my new 2020. Dang girl, Danny's planning 2025 already.
Yeah. So I'm not going to show you a month that has stuff in it already because I can't share everything. But so I'll write on here when a video is supposed to post. Then from
Yeah.
here, I go to my weekly and so Monday I'll have to record something that's due 2 weeks from now. And I try and do 2 weeks ahead in case something happens, in case one of the grandkids needs me, or one of my kids needs me, or my mom or my mother-in-law, because both my husband and I have our mothers in our 80s. Mine's 89, almost 90. And we're fortunate enough that we have everybody living close by, but that also means that now that I'm retired, I'm the phone call. It's call Yvette. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and they all seem to think, you're retired, you have free time. And I look at them and I work harder now that I'm retired than when I work.
I know,
I have less
right?
time. What are you people thinking?
Yeah.
Yes, Sarah, I have my calendar through December as well. So as soon as I know obligations for January, it'll be in there. I have
Yeah,
to.
that's you're like a DT coordinator's dream. You're always working. You're so far in advance. You like are so on top of everything.
I have
It's
to plan
amazing.
ahead. Thank you.
But I hear what you're
I did miss
saying
one.
that
Don't forget, I missed one. Think back. That I didn't realize I was supposed to have my video up. It's probably last year.
what
And
team?
I got a text. Uh, it had to be Kendra's team. It was supposed to be a hop, and it was a Gina K hop. And I'm at breakfast, and I get a message, your video's not up. And I was like, my what?
Oh, from me.
And
Oh, I
I
don't remember
forgot to
that.
write that one down. Oh. So I got
Oh,
home, recorded it, uploaded it.
oh
Because you even
yeah.
said, you don't have to do it. And I said, oh, yes, I do. I signed up. I have to do it.
That's so
So I did.
funny. It's funny the things that
So
you
that's,
remember. I don't remember. I
uh,
remember you were at breakfast. I remember
I was at
that.
breakfast.
Oh,
And I'm
that's
telling
so
my husband,
funny.
hurry up. I have to go home and record a video. Hurry up. So we did.
Oh,
And I got
this
it
is
done, right? I
funny.
got it done.
Card Craze says a lot of retirees are more busy now that they're retired than when
It's
they were
true.
working. I hear it all the time.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely true. Because now you're doing all the things you couldn't do when you were working. And so now you're
Yeah.
busier. And then everybody thinks you have free time. So everybody asks you to do things.
But it's kind of nice though that retirement doesn't have to mean just like vegging out in front of a TV all day. So,
I don't think I could do
yeah.
that. I couldn't. I mean, it's
Yeah.
fun. I'll get a like today I went to drop something off at my daughter's work, and she works at the same school district I used to work at. And I went to drop something off, and as I was driving away, it was like, huh, I don't have to report back to work. I'm going home. Like you remember, oh, I don't have to go to work today. So
Yeah. That's
yeah,
kind of
it's fun.
nice.
I
Um
love it.
so what I'm hearing in terms of like potential negative things is um the first thing that you touched on, I'm not sure that I'm recapping this correctly, but is it that it can be hard to like be um like the responsibility, I guess, of like
Representing
representing
that company
a
well.
company. Okay.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah,
do you
it's not something I
feel
expected to have that feeling, and I did.
okay? Do you feel
And
it's
that maybe that's just
because
me.
yeah, but is that a function of like just wanting to do because you said, wanting them to be proud of you. Is it a function of that or is it a function of because you had also mentioned like maybe some of the bigger companies don't want, people who aren't salesy enough and like,
Mhm,
bringing in the dough
mhm.
for them. So
Right.
is there stress with being
I think
salesy and
for I think I felt that stress in the beginning. That might have been self-imposed. It was self-imposed. Nobody pressured me to do anything. And I think it was me, and that's my personality. I'm a middle child, so I have middle child syndrome that I have to please everybody and I have to make everybody happy. And so I think I put that on myself a lot that I want to make sure that I am doing my best to represent whoever I'm working with. And that's always been me. As from as long as I can remember, that has been me. And I can remember till I was about 4 years old. And perfectionism. You know how in an interview they ask you, "Oh, what's one negative about you?" Perfectionism. I want everything I do to be perfect. It's got to be
I know,
perfect.
but that's one of those negatives you say that makes you look good too.
Yeah, turn it around. But yeah, it's it can be a negative because you start to
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
second guess yourself. Yeah, so
Yeah.
eh, it is what it is.
Okay.
I'm a lot better about it as I get older. Like if you would have known me in my 20s, oh no, 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 no. It had to be perfect. Had to be. My poor kids, my poor firstborn, she couldn't get
Oh,
dirty because
she can get
the
dirty.
last one could roll around in the mud and I didn't care.
You're like,
Yeah.
she's still there and breathing.
I, I, yeah, I can wash the clothes. She can jump in the bathtub. No big deal. Yeah, there's a difference. So
So, do you, I mean, for people who aren't familiar or aware, that is the job, that is the, whether somebody's explicitly telling you, oh, you need to be,
mm,
I mean, nobody's saying you have to sell this amount of product, but that is the function of having a design team is to market and
that
promote
is your
a
role. That's our
yeah.
role.
And
I
so do you track that for your just for yourself, even if there aren't like, even if the company's not saying, oh, Yvette, you gotta sell X dollars this month or else next, it's not like that, but for your own sake, do you have personal goals for like how much affiliate commission you're making? And is that any sort of metric of success for you or a curiosity or a goal? I don't know.
It's
How
a
much is
curiosity
money?
more than anything. I mean, I'm very fortunate that my retirement from the school district is a good retirement, and so I don't. I'm actually I'm very blessed. I don't worry about the money portion of it. So I do have a spreadsheet, don't laugh, that anytime I get affiliate commission, I kind of track
Oh my gosh,
to kind of
girl.
keep track of where I am. I kind of do it for two reasons, because then I can see what company is bringing in, I'm getting more affiliate commission from. So how many,
Right,
people are hitting these links more than these ones, and why is that? And then I can kind of look at the videos and figure out, what did I do
right.
better here that they're using those
Yeah,
links, or is it just the product, or so it's
yeah.
not it's not precise, but it kind of gives me some information to kind of guide me on how to better my approach.
Oh, that's interesting. So Card Craze says, sadly, most affiliate links do not work outside the US. Yeah,
Oh.
well, that's a good point in a larger sense because I would just say do not work, period. Because for folks who don't know, affiliate links are a, a like in large part how designers get cash compensated for
Uh-huh.
their work on a design team because we get the product if it's a company that we're
Uh-huh.
on the team of. And so you get that, but you got to bring the rest. Like you were saying, you got to buy the paper, you got to buy the glue, you got to buy the tools,
Uh-huh.
the fifth and sixth die cutting machine, whatever, all those things.
One,
And
two, three, four, five.
yeah, I know you got a lot too. You're right up there with me. um,
So bad.
but with affiliate links, that is a way, one of the ways that as a designer we can kind of make some money and offset those costs and maybe even earn, a positive income from it. But a
Uh-huh.
lot of times, because affiliate links are mostly right now that they rely on cookies getting saved to a person's computer. And if you're somebody like me and you turn cookies off, no one's ever going to earn anything on what I buy because I have my computers like super secure.
Super locked down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, as much as I'd like to support, people, and I try to, I don't always
Mm-hmm.
have cookies turned on.
Uh-uh.
And that's not a function of, where I live. That's just a function of how I do technology.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the platforms are working. So a lot of people who are designers will know that there's been a big shift in um, companies going from one affiliate marketing platform to another
To another.
because of the links just not getting tracked properly.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just don't really know because it's all like you just have to take it for granted that the technology is doing what the technology is supposed to do, but you don't really know. You get
For
money in the
sure. There's no
mail if
way to
you're
know.
lucky. Yeah, if you're lucky you get money. And like you were saying that it's hard to look at anything and know what to do better or different
Right.
because you don't know if it's a factor of the product,
Uh-huh.
the product design, the product price. Like maybe it's a great product, but it's just priced so that people can't afford it. You don't know if it's a
Right.
function of those things, of the company, or of how you've presented it. And so
Mm-hmm.
you could have done everything as but so how do you learn from that, right? Like how do
It's
you
hard
make
to.
decisions? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's like as a designer, as a content creator, if you're trying to make the hobby a job where you can earn
Mm-hmm.
money from, it's not the
Mm-hmm.
way to do it because it's very hard. Like you need to be like in the Jennifer McGuire stratosphere where
Pretty much.
right, like or
Pretty
halfway
much.
there. She's kind of a one of a kind. Christina Warner, Jennifer McGuire, Gina K, they're all like in the upper echelon, even half
Mm-hmm.
there. I'm sure those folks are making good money just by the percentages. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, so it's all very
For
like
me, it's fun money. If I get money from affiliate links, it's fun money. And I just recently, I want to say in the last year, started getting affiliate links. Oh, of course. Bedside equipment purchases are very costly, are they not, Lynn?
they they can be, yes. We do need to equip our bedsides. Everybody should equip
Mhm.
their bedsides with crafty materials.
Crafty. Have like paper trimmer, scissors, glue, paper, just the bare necessities.
Yeah. Um but it's good. So money making isn't a goal for you in this endeavor.
Not necessarily. No. I mean, it's a bonus. It's fun. And I mean, when I do get affiliate money, I start looking, okay, what can I spend it on? What can I buy? And
Bonus.
yeah, bonus. So it's fun. If at some point my channel takes off for some reason and I just start making like, great, that's great. If not, it's fine. I mean, I'm happy and I'm blessed to be able to do this, and that my husband is so understanding. Like I made dinner before I got in here, and I said, I'm going in the garage. I'm going live. I'll be back in an hour or two. He's like, okay.
There's food,
And
right?
it started. I realized I didn't text my kid. Yeah, I didn't text my kids. Kids, I'm going live. Don't text me. If there's an emergency, text your father. So, and then even my grandson
Oh.
came in right before we went live. What are you doing? And I said, I'm going into a meeting. Okay, I'm going to be out here. And I said, okay, baby.
Aw,
So
so
they kind of
sweet.
know. Mhm.
That's awesome.
They're good. I'm lucky.
And then if I remember correctly, the other negative was just the so a lot of times I think people might think that joining a design team it's going to be like super like professionally run and like organized and it's like company driven, so it must be like very well-oiled machine, and it's sounding like from your experience that's not always the
Not all
case.
teams are. Not always. Not always. But
Yeah.
I mean, if they put you in charge, it'll be a well-oiled machine. No problem.
Well, thanks. Well, the thing is that um I think that every team, no team wants chaos, and
Mm-mm.
one of the things that is of a benefit to being a small business is that you can be agile. You can kind of you can kind of spin on a dime because
Mm-hmm.
you don't have this huge production that's been locked in stone 6 months ahead. If like a
Mm-hmm.
trend changes, or there's a something going on and you need to kind of adapt so that you can be a part of that something. um
Mm-hmm.
if you're small and you're a small business, and this most craft companies, oh, I don't know about most, but a lot of craft companies are like a
A
one-woman
lot are
show.
small business. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of them are.
or, or
And
like
I
family,
don't know how they do it. Hmm.
yeah, seriously, right? So
I don't know
I
how they
think
do it.
one of the benefits is that they can do things quickly and change quickly. And I think when that's the exception and not the rule, it's kind of okay because that happens. And
Right.
sometimes you need to kind of put your team in a bit of a hot spot if it makes sense
Yeah.
for the business.
Yeah, and that's
uh
understandable once in a while,
yeah,
but when it's more often
once in
than
a
not,
while.
it's yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing I'm with you on is the changing of the expectations. Like, well, we
Mhm.
said 2 videos, but now we need 4. And
Mhm.
I mean, I
Mhm.
feel like that's a huge difference from
Changing
well, instead
dates.
of next week, we need it this week, or instead of next month,
Mhm,
we need it 2 weeks from now. Like, okay, it's the same
mhm.
amount of work. It's just we were shifting the time frame. I think that's
Right,
kind of legit.
right.
But yeah, I
But
kind of hear you, and
adding
I've been in, yeah, kind of been
mhm,
in your camp, and in a lot of on a lot of different teams too, where it's
mm,
felt
yeah,
unfair in spite of the contracts we sign. So
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
But, I try and put myself in their shoes on, um, okay, why would they make this change? Something happened, um,
right.
that required this. So I try and be understanding about that. It's just my very linear way of thinking. It has difficulty with that. So, um,
Yeah.
I have
I,
plans. I have plans in my book, and I
yeah.
don't want to change them.
Well, do you write in pencil in your planner or in pen?
I do write in pencil. I do.
um,
I learned.
but I will say this though, being um in a position where now I've managed like probably like half a dozen teams now, and um I I see my role as a coordinator to understand both sides and the needs of both
Mhm,
as a design team member, because I'm on a lot of teams where I don't manage it. um and from the company side, and the reality is this, like every small business does not have like an infinite amount of marketing money, and right, so
right.
they're trying to get the most out of everything that they have, and what they have
Mhm,
is designers
mhm.
and who are willing to work for
For product.
glitter, as it's called. Yeah. and
Uh-huh.
and there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel and this is, you know not everybody appreciates this, but I am an advocate for designers first and foremost. Like, I advocate for the company too, but and if push comes to shove, I'm fine saying we need this and it's not fair, but please just suck it up.
Mhm.
So I don't mind doing that on behalf of a company owner, but I'm gonna try my hardest to advocate for the designer and for fairness, because, you know, I want more designers to actually be paid and cash compensated. And if that's not the case, then
Mhm.
it needs to be fair in all the other ways, right?
Right,
So,
right.
it has to, like, you gotta get them product early enough for them to do all the things,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
somebody making a
And
video
sometimes
is
that's
not
not
this.
their fault. Sometimes it's the manufacturer and they don't get it to them in
Right.
time, and so we understand that, but,
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing is that, you know, dates are just dates. You can push a date out. To be honest, like, there's things,
yeah.
and but the thing is that, like, I kind of feel like there's a lot of um a lot of designers out there who, because they don't know what it's like to be on the design team, they kind of just think, okay, my experience is the experience. And it's until you've had a lot of different teams, and been on a lot of different teams, that not every team operates the
It's the
same.
same. Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
And as well, yeah, and each individual person's experience on a team is going to be different too,
Mhm.
even though it's the same team.
Definitely.
Yeah, because some people respond, better to certain management styles than others, and so, I might not be everybody's cup of tea in terms of how I run a team, and so, people who might be on teams that I manage might not enjoy the experience, and that's fine, and
Who wouldn't
people,
enjoy that experience?
I'm
Tell me their names.
sure it happens. I'm sure it happens. And I don't take any personal offense at it, because, you know, different strokes for different folks.
Everybody has so my when I worked, I was a supervisor. So everybody has a different management um, style.
Yeah.
And I think, my style was like you. I advocated for um, my subordinates and made sure that they were looked after before me. And I think because I went up in the ranks, I knew what it was like to be,
Right.
I started as a school secretary, so I knew what that was like. And um,
Yeah.
at the position I ended up as, it was like, if my boss said, we're going to add this workload to them, and I would say, no, whoa, 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 hold on, I've been there, and I know what that you think it's just a little bit adds to them. Let's try and find a workaround. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that you look at both sides because I having been a supervisor, I had to look at both sides, the management
Right.
side and the staff
Right.
side, and make sure that we had a good balance.
Absolutely.
So I do
You
appreciate that.
manage up and you manage down, right? That's
Manage
like what
down.
middle managers do.
Probably because I'm a middle
So,
child, I just knew to do that.
yeah, we're the negotiators, right? Well, I'm the
Hmm.
youngest child, I'm not a middle
Really are.
child, but that
Oh,
is how that dynamic works. I've been
it is.
told.
It is.
Um, but that's why, I really enjoy working with company owners and, design team owners who are appreciative of that, even if they don't
Hmm.
have, even if they have never been on a design team themselves, because not every company owner, I mean, they own a company. They didn't
Right.
necessarily start as a designer on a team and then they
Hmm.
started a company, right? So they, not every owner, and that's something fascinating that I came to learn too, is that not every
Hmm.
company owner has been on a design team themselves. And so
Yep.
they don't really
They just
know
started their company.
the stresses. Yeah, they know their company, they know how to do the creative of their company and how to run the
Yeah.
business of their company, but they don't necessarily know, like, when they make a particular ask of a designer, you know,
Hmm.
um like, why is a video any different from posting a photo to Instagram? Like, making videos is
Right.
considerably more work. And so things like that, like, that's why I really appreciate working with company owners who are very open to that dialogue. And I found for the most part, once they know, then they
Hmm.
are willing to kind of make concessions. It's just that
Yeah.
no one, like, I, as a design team member, I've never told a company owner, I've never pushed back, let's say, on,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I've
Yeah.
never
No,
said, no,
I
I
haven't. I
can't
don't
do
push back.
that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
And maybe that's me, and that's not, like I should have, maybe, in retrospect, when I've been faced with those uh, occasions where the ask was, I felt not fair, but I've never
Mm-hmm.
pushed back. It's only when I've managed teams and the company owner was like, "Do you think we can get this done and release on this date?" And I'm like, no." Can we, can we get an extra
Please no.
week at least?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and um but and so that's why I feel like sometimes company owners are willing to make those concessions and have those dialogues if somebody were to push back.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're running their own teams, maybe they don't know that they are putting a strain on their designers.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know I'm like, okay, I'll just make this happen. I don't know how, but
Right.
I'll just make it happen.
Yeah. Gonna make it happen. That's what
Right.
we do. That's what
Um,
we do.
so Michelle, this is a good question. She says, well, I think this is with regards to, like, well, if companies cash compensated their designers, wouldn't that increase the cost to consumers? Um, yeah, the money has to come from somewhere, and
Yeah.
that could be ultimately one way it gets funded. But every business needs to invest in marketing if they want to. grow.
Right.
And it's not necessarily true that you're going to get the best work out of somebody if that person earns money. I mean, because that's
Yeah.
not everybody's goal.
No.
Um, but what I will say is this: to Yvette's point, a small, relatively small channel like ours may not bring in a lot of, sales. And I think Helen, when I interviewed her, had a really good suggestion in terms of a model or for cash compensation is the size of the audience that you have the potential to reach.
Mm-hmm.
Because, asking Jennifer McGuire to do a video showcasing your products is gonna have it's gonna reach like 500,000 people. Asking me to, mention your product is gonna reach like a couple thousand. So how
Mm-hmm.
much money is it worth to potentially
Right.
reach Jennifer McGuire's audience? And would you be willing
Mm-hmm.
to pay for that? Be, besides just giving her the free product. Because how much, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, all of our time is valuable and we can all place a
Mm-hmm.
value on our time. But how much is it worth to a company to get in
Right.
front of that many people?
Mm-hmm.
And it would pay for itself. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not to say that, yeah, just outright everybody should be cash compensated, but I think there might be some intriguing models of, look, it's just the potential of getting, because somebody might ask then, well, isn't that what the affiliate money is all about? Well, yeah, to an extent, but like Yvette was saying, you don't know if it's you do the work whether it sells or not,
Regardless.
right? You've made the video, and whether it sells or not could be a function of how much was it priced. Was it priced good?
Mm-hmm.
Is a number of factors, right? That we can't control,
Number.
but we've done the work, and
Exactly.
so there's different things to play with there as a compensation model. Um, what do you think? What do you two think is an acceptable workload? I'll let you answer this a bit. How do you balance your workload?
Um, so I I was on 5 design teams at one time and found and at a point in my personal life that we had to take care of my father-in-law, and then when he passed, my mother-in-law, and so I felt overwhelmed. If you're on multiple teams and you're feeling overwhelmed, it's too many. Um, I I tried I stepped away from one and thought, okay, let me see if that's enough. Um, and it was because that I stepped away from the one team um, that I had to do the most work for. And so that one team was enough to kind of relieve the feeling of being overwhelmed. Part of that feeling was what was going on in my personal life, of course, but you can't separate your personal from what you're doing on video. You can't.
Mm-hmm.
And so I also didn't want to not give it my all for all the teams I was on. It wasn't fair to everybody. So I had to decide, okay, which team do I give up? And I talked to my husband, and he said, well, which one do you do the most work for? And once I kind of figured it out, I said, okay, I'll kind of step back from that team for now and see if that helps me to relieve some of that stress. And it did. It really made a big difference. Just the one team. So to me, the workload really is dependent on your individual circumstances. If you're working full time, 5 teams might not be doable for you. I'm
Yeah.
retired, so I have
Yeah.
the flexibility of, if I have to, babysit in the afternoon, I can do my videos in the morning, or vice versa. Or if I have to take my mother-in-law to a doctor's appointment, I don't worry about not getting something done today because I can do it tomorrow. And that's why when I plan a couple weeks out so that if something comes up, I have the flexibility to do that. So I think
Yeah.
it's very individual to each designer, how much is too much.
Yeah. I 100% agree. And I would throw this into not every team. Okay, so even if the commitments are the same, like okay, 2 videos a month or whatever, right?
Mhm.
Uh, 2 videos a month for some teams is not equivalent to 2 videos a month on other teams, depending on whatever stress and chaos comes with that team. So,
Ding, ding, ding.
um, so yeah, there's a lot tied into. I would say it's not just the workload, but just the mental load,
Mhm,
like in general.
mhm,
Like how not just how much work you have to produce, but how much work is it to like get all the things that you need to get to be successful and make what you need to make and deliver. And you know, some teams where 2 videos a month, but you've got the product 6 weeks in advance, it's different than 2 videos a month and you got the product a week in advance. you know,
mhm. Yeah,
so
that makes a huge difference.
there's a huge difference, yeah. So I think
Yeah,
like and what's acceptable to everybody is very different
it's different.
to your point too. I love these questions, by the way. Keep them going. Danny says, I think it would be
Okay.
a trade-off, either pay money or product, usually not both. Yeah, and I agree that that's currently sort of, you know, where a lot of companies are, but like the here's how I think of it. If you're like a fashion model, they give you the clothes to model, right? But they also pay you for your time to do the photo
Mhm.
shoot, right? And the models get to keep all of that. It's not like they take, the clothes back.
They
And
keep it.
the model shows up, there's a photographer, there's a editor, there's a blah blah. As a video content creator, we get the product that's equivalent to getting the clothes and the makeup, right? We do our
Mhm,
own video editing, we do our own voiceover, we do our own photo editing and marketing, asset creation. That's all part of the job. And we haven't been
mhm,
compensated for any of that. Getting the product, personally, I feel, is not necessarily compensation. That's the thing you want me to
mhm,
help you sell. If I don't have that, how do I help you sell that?
mhm,
So I feel grateful to receive it. And it is, in a sense, compensation, truly. But in a perfect world, I do believe that the work that designers do as a part of a design team, if in the best of all cases and companies had all the money in the world, I think they would compensate their designers.
mhm.
Um, because I truly believe that they do value what we do. They're just not always in a position to do that. Some companies are,
Exactly.
and some aren't. And
Mhm,
that's just the reality of the industry that we're in. But I do feel like designers deserve both. And that there might be some intriguing different ways of deciding who gets cash compensated and who doesn't.
mhm,
Like I was saying, maybe it's based on how large their platform is. Um, Sarah Liz says if companies are willing to pay for videos, they'll get a large pool of designers and, in theory, a better quality of video. Uh, yeah. I mean,
maybe.
I don't know. Do you feel like that? I know your answer, but I'll answer it. I'll ask it anyways. Is the quality of your work contingent on whether you're cash comp you if somebody were to pay you or not?
No,
Yeah,
no, I think that has a lot to do with just somebody's, personal work ethic and what they expect of themselves and, what they wanna put out there, how they wanna represent themselves and the company. So
yeah.
I think that has a lot to do with it. I don't know, that's just
I
it
think so
wouldn't make a
too.
difference to me whether I got compensated with cash or it doesn't matter to me. I try and put out my best work. And, sometimes that means doing voiceovers after everybody's asleep because otherwise you'll hear the 1-year old and the 3-year-old in the
Right.
background calling grandma. And
Yeah.
sometimes you don't necessarily have the best um, environment to get things done when you want to get them done, but you still
Right.
do your best and put out your best work, your best effort.
Yeah. Um, I think so too, and I think that's probably the case for a lot of people. I think that at the end of the day, most creators are not going to put something out that they're not proud of,
Mm-mm,
whether they're getting paid for it or not, right?
mm-mm,
So
mm-mm.
I agree with you kind of on in principle, Sarah Liz, that maybe cash compensating would yield to better quality, um but I don't know that that's would be the case for everybody. And the thing is that with so many people willing to work for free, it's like why why pay
Why would they
when
pay?
there's a lot of people willing to do it for no pay. This is a really good question. So Card Craze says, what if you get product you really don't want to work with? If so, how do you handle it? So have you ever been in that position of it where you got something and just didn't
That I
really.
didn't, that really wasn't a jam, that really didn't like call to me.
Well,
Yes.
let's say far extreme, it's just something that was against your beliefs, or like something that like just you really, it's not just like I don't like this. It's not like my favorite
hmm
thing in the world, but it was beyond that. Like maybe it felt offensive to you. Like have you ever been in that
I
position?
haven't been in that situation. I've been where I've gotten some product that I wasn't a fan of, but we kind of have to make it work, and I made it work. But I think if I got something that was, let's say, it was offensive to me or my beliefs, I might reach out to the design team lead and ask if I could bail. I'll return the product. Can I bail out on this one? Because I just can't. Um,
Yeah.
luckily, I haven't been in that situation. And just the situation of some things that weren't my favorite. I was like, oh, I had to think real hard how to make it work.
Yeah.
And I
Um
don't want to think.
so just so that for folks who may not be as familiar, does one always get to pick what to work with when they're on a design team?
No, no, you don't. Kind of depends on the team. Um, but uh, and sometimes it depends on the release as well. If, for example, a design team has a huge release, and they kind of might say, okay, what would you prefer? It doesn't guarantee it, but what would you prefer to work with? You can kind of say, oh, well, I like this, this, and that. And 9 times out of 10, that's what you'll get. Um, but if it's a smaller release, you kind of get what you get and don't throw a fit. Yeah,
Yeah.
make it
I
work.
mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of the yeah, you're not gonna always get something that is something that you would buy, basically, right?
hmm
Like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
not something I would spend my money on, but you want to show, you know, how to use the product in case this is something that somebody likes and they would want to spend their money on this, because not everybody likes the same thing. And I think that's part of the beauty of being creative and doing card making or paper crafting, is that we all have such different tastes, and we can, um, from one product, we can all make such different things.
right, right. Um, so good question. And this is another really good question from Michelle. Would you say, getting back to in terms of workload and what's fair, would you say one video for a post a month for each DT is fair? So this is a hard question to answer outside of context, and I'll tell you why. Because personally, because so you all know how I feel about whether somebody should be cash compensated or not. But if it's only compensation through product, what's fair, I feel, depends on how much product that designer is receiving.
Right.
So, is it fair, rhetorically, is it fair to send somebody a $16 stamp and ask them to make one video plus four projects? If you're saying one, each of those posts is four projects, like four cards, four different cards. How much
Mhm.
time does it take somebody to do that? And they're all they're getting for that time and creativity and talent and whatever skills go into video editing, they're getting essentially $16. Like minimum wage in a lot of states is 15 for an hour. So it takes a whole
Oh, in
heck of a lot.
California,
That,
it's 20.
oh, is it? You guys are so
If you work in
progressive. That's awesome.
fast food. Yeah, yeah, but how much? You know how much our gasoline is here, and how much it is to buy a house?
Oh, so that's
No.
amazing. I'm gonna start using California minimum wage then when I make these arguments.
Mhm.
So like you could work at McDonald's for $20 an hour,
$20 an hour.
and yet
Mhm.
yeah, and yet designers working on a design team are sometimes getting 2, 3 stamp sets and having to do 8 to 10 hours of work because Danny's comment either earlier or later was it's not just making of the video. You got to share it out to social media. And then you can't just share it and then ignore everybody who comments on your post. You got to reply to all those comments. And so there's work. And so is what you've delineated there fair? It really depends on how much product they're receiving. I feel
Right.
personally is my answer. Yvette, what do
I
you
agree.
think?
I agree. I think it depends on what you're getting with, if you're getting a whole release and they expect 2 videos and 4 posts, that's reasonable because if it's a large release, well, that's a lot of product. But if you're getting one stamp set and they want 2 videos and 2 posts, that's excessive because it takes time. I know when I first started YouTube, I thought this is easy. Those videos are like 15 minutes long. No, no. Um, so you're recording. I think I saw Sarah ask the question how long it takes me to do a video for one card. So if I'm doing one card and it's fairly straightforward, easy, um, the video is usually about an hour to an hour and a half, and then I edit that down to 10 to 15 minutes. So that's a lot of editing. And, I try not to have to do voiceovers if I can. I try and actually like talk through, but if I have to, I have to, and I do a voiceover. But it is work. It is a lot of work. It You want to make sure, and then sometimes technology being what it is, you're going, and you didn't realize your camera turned off, and the last hour of work is nowhere and you have to start all over. So, there's always something. So it's not 15 minutes. How much is the planning for the card? Um, if I'm doing a video for one of the teams, it's a sketch team like Sheet Load or Kendra's Car Challenge. Not much planning because I have the sketches in front of me. It's kind of just figuring out what papers I'm going to use and what I'm going to, decorate with. So not too much goes into it. But it does take time to put it together and then to dig through things because sometimes you think, oh, I have the perfect stamp for that. I know what I have. And you have to kind of go dig and where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And then hope that's not one of the ones you destashed. And, you know, bring that in. So it does take time. More time than I thought it would when I first started YouTube. I thought, which I think a lot of people think that, they see a video that's even a longer video, they see a video that's a half hour long. That was probably 3 hours of footage that got cut down.
Hmm.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And
Yeah.
knowing what to include because you don't know, does somebody want to watch me coloring an image for 4 or 5 minutes of this video? Or do I cut that part out and just show the colored image, or do I fast forward through that? So you kind of have to gauge what your audience wants to see, and while not taking out a lot of the content, because people want to see how to make a card. So I
Right.
know when I was first watching YouTube videos, it's like, oh, I want to see how they did that so I can do that because I want to make that. And so I want to be able to do that and show people how to make it, and so that they can recreate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And seeing a lot of comments. Um, so one of the things that I would say with regards to like how much time something takes, like Sarah Liz said, it's also about like each individual has different strengths, right? What they're good at. And
Hmm.
for her, making videos, she's like, that's easy for her. And WordPress blog stuff, not so much. And I think the thing is that, you know, um, it's not really like a matter of, because it's hard to tell. Obviously, for some people, things are going to be easier than others. But when you think about the skill set that goes into somebody creating a video for you and what all has to go into it, whether that person is adept and good and fast at doing it or not, that's kind of immaterial. Great for them if they can do a video in half the time that somebody else takes to do a video, but that's what you're paying for if you're cash compensating, right? Is that the knowledge and the skill to do it. And everybody as an individual is going to excel differently at that skill. And so it doesn't mean that somebody who can accomplish the same thing in half the time deserves half the money, because if the end product is the same, it's worth the same.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm not
And
sure
that's
that
just the recording time. There's editing too. So there's,
right.
I don't know, maybe an hour,
Exactly.
depending on the video. It's time.
Right. Yeah. And so I think that like I think Danny commented the very similarly that even her simple videos still take hours, to do when you factor all of that stuff in, like the
Hmm.
planning of it, because there is that you not everybody just kind of turns the camera on and goes, right? You kind of have to, do some prep work. Like you said, maybe you want to color stuff
Yeah.
in advance. So it takes,
Hmm.
however long it takes you to color, but you get all your things, your ducks in a row so that when you film, it's not eight
You
hours
have
of
everything
footage you're
ready to go.
editing. It's 3 hours.
It's free.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'd say a simple
Uh,
video from planning to editing would probably take me 4 to 5 hours.
yeah. I think that's probably about fair. Maybe on the low end for me. I think it takes me a little longer. Um, so this
Yeah.
is interesting from Michelle. She says, paying per video, do you think it would be harder for small channels? Um, Harder. Do you understand the context of
I think
this?
she's saying it would be harder for a small channel to get on a design team. If that's the question, I
Right.
think
Okay.
for the smaller companies, I think at least my thought as an owner would be to reach as many different audiences as possible. So if that means having design team members from 10 different channels that are on the smaller side versus uh, two big channels, you want to get to different audiences. And I think that's important for the companies. And I know they realize that. I think um, that's why I was able to get on a design team when I didn't even have 1,000 subscribers, when I was still
Hmm.
itty bitty.
Well, so I think you're right with that interpretation of the question. So now I get it. And I think that if you were to ask me, not that I have the right answer to this, but I think the answer is yes. It would be harder for a small channel to um, be cash compensated, not because they don't deserve it, but because if you're thinking of this from the business side, if I paid a channel that has 500 subscribers, that doesn't even mean that 500 people will watch their video, right?
Mhm.
But let's just say that's what I'm paying for is the potential audience of 500 people to watch a video. Um, that has very different bottom line potential than a creator who has 5,000 subscribers
Mhm.
and bottom line potential meaning actual sales. Um, and
Right.
so it's not going to make monetary business benefit. It doesn't make sense to pay for at least certainly not pay equally, right? Somebody who has just the potential of reaching 500 versus somebody who has the potential of reaching 5,000 versus somebody who has the
Mhm.
potential of reaching 15,000.
Mhm.
And so businesses have to do what makes sense for their bottom line, which is why I
Mhm.
feel like when you're small, my mindset was I'm just hungry to get noticed. And so I work for the product. And
Mhm.
I'm happy with that. I get free product. I get to work with new things all the time. I get to meet cool people in the industry. And it's a fun experience. And that more than makes up for whatever money I could have been making. But,
Mhm.
as a creator gets into that, and I don't know where that bar is, I don't know where that line is. But when they have the potential of hitting a larger audience, it's like paying for any other kind of advertising. And it's much more valuable because it's a very targeted audience. So, like, you
True.
could pay for Facebook ads, you could pay for YouTube ads, or you could pay your
Mhm.
designer who's going to like create inspiration projects that you use on your website and your other promotional materials, and they can hit a very targeted audience that's more likely to purchase.
True.
And so, as with anything, I think a business just needs to budget it. But I do think that still might mean that smaller channels, smaller creators might not start there. But I think you know, if there was a path to get there, I think that would be ultimately beneficial. I think
Mhm.
everybody would be really happy in the long run. Because honestly, what I see a lot of content creators do is, at some point they just grow out of design teams and they want to do their own thing. And I think that's good. It makes way for new designers to kind of get onto those teams.
Mhm.
But in other ways, it's like, okay, well, now it's hard to get big designers. Like, how many people can get Jennifer McGuire to work with their products, right? She's like kind of superstar. so,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I like the question. The This is such a great conversation we're having. This is an interesting topic. Danny says, I wonder too if the new social media era hasn't caught up with the companies as we used to just have to post to blogs and message boards, and it's so different now. Do you have thoughts on this, Yvette?
I've noticed, so when I first started my channel, I started my YouTube channel and then Instagram account, my Facebook account, all for under Yvette Olea Creates, and a blog. And I quickly tired of the blog. And I noticed a trend in um, less blogging, less posts. So I think companies are moving away from that, where it's not their main focus. I mean, there's still um, posts, but I just think because we're in an age of we need to know how to do this now. Like yesterday, my granddaughter broke a pipe outside. And it was like, oh God, how do we fix this? YouTube to the rescue. And we
Yeah.
fixed it. So, it's if people want to know how to do something now and they don't want to read, they don't want to read the directions or read what, the
Oh,
steps you
true.
took, or they want to see it. And I think that's why we're kind of getting away from the blogging, which I, you know, some people love reading, and that's good for them. I'm not one of them. And to me, I'd rather see it. I want to see something in action, and I think that's why we're headed in that direction. And part of it is too the younger generation just. Oh, I sound old when I say that. The younger generation, oh, um, they are more for instant gratification than I've ever seen, and they just, they want to see something now, and they want to see how to do it now, and so I don't know. I think we're moving on. Yeah, blogs have died.
Yeah. It so it used to be that blogs were very relevant because social media was ephemeral and
Mhm,
didn't come up in search engines. But
mhm.
nowadays, YouTube videos are coming up in search engine results,
Yep.
and the permanency, especially of something like YouTube, is
Mhm,
and Pinterest, I think, is another one. Like
mhm.
those are more fixtures now than they used to be, where blogs,
Yes.
if you searched, that's usually what would come up first. And nowadays, if you Google search anything, videos are like right,
Videos pop up.
yeah, they're right at
Mhm.
the top.
First things you
So,
see.
yeah, so it has changed. Caroline says, I hate jumping in on this so late. I feel I see a lot of the same product over and over because the design teams are so big. Maybe if companies kept the teams smaller, they could compensate. Um, yeah, I think that is probably a good point, but I think one of the challenges is that um the reason why you're seeing things over and over again is because there's like a very common marketing, rule that to to get a consumer to move to act, they kind of have to see a thing many times over. And these days, it's many more times than it used to be in the past because
Mhm.
we're all a little bit like short attentioned now. Like we see something and they're like, "Oh, that looks cool. I should really get it," and then you forget about it
You
two
forget
hours
all about it.
later. Yeah, even if you
Yeah.
had the full intention of going to buy that thing, you might have like a squirrel moment and then forget to buy that thing. And then you see it again.
Mhm,
But now you've seen it
mhm,
when you're driving or whatever, like you can't take the moment to go buy it. And then you have to see it like two or three or whatever, however many more times, right? Or maybe you just need to see it, to your point of that, of having like different designers with different styles and different ways of presenting
mhm.
the same product. Maybe it takes you seeing it the way that somebody has used it in this clever, neat way. And you're like, oh, now I can see I can get a lot more out of this
Right.
than the face of it, right? And so it takes somebody seeing it, the same product, but maybe
Exactly.
presented by different
In a
designers
different way. Mhm,
in a different way. And
mhm.
And so, like, companies that can afford to send products to a lot of designers have the benefit of getting in your face that many times. And that improves their chances of,
Mm,
uh, so it's like, it's a hard problem to solve, to be honest, this whole idea
mhm.
of compensation, because yeah, if you cash compensate, then I mean it's a balancing act, right? You can't raise all levels of everything, like have
No.
infinite number of designers and pay them infinite amounts of money.
Right.
So yeah,
Be
like
nice if they
fewer
did have
designers.
infinite amounts of money.
It would be. That would be really nice. So Michelle says, would you like to be able to pick the products that you work on? Or do you like getting surprised with something like new and different and
I say
presented with
yes
a
and
challenge?
no. Yeah, I say yes and no. Uh, Sometimes I want to know ahead of time to plan what I'm going to work with. Sometimes it's fun to just get surprised and, oh, look what I got. And I already have an idea in my head, or um, it's hit and miss. I've done both. I've been on a design team where we once in a while with larger releases got to choose what we wanted. And then I'm on team now that we get surprised. So it's fun. I like it
Yeah,
either way.
I I kind of feel like I was on a team where we got to some there was like a rotation. So some months we got whatever that month's release was, and then
Mhm.
some months we got to pick. And it was at the end of a term and I was like, how do I not have to pick anymore because I just don't like having to pick. I'd rather just send me whatever. It takes so much time to like shop the website and pick. And I don't know why. I just felt like it was so hard to decide what to pick.
Yeah.
And so it was funny because it was at the end of the it was at the end of the term where like I think it might have been like Christmas, and so what they wanted was everybody to just work on the company's releases,
Uh-huh.
and so nobody got to pick, that month, 'Cause normally
Uh-huh.
you're on a rotation, right? So I think for a month or 2 months or whatever it was, nobody got to pick. It was just we just need to focus on company products. And so I was like, oh, see, this is so much better for me. I'd rather not pick. Just send me your things and I'll do the things I need to do with them. And so like I posted to the design team like group. I was like, hey, this is really fun. If every month was like this, I would really like I don't mind not picking the
Easy peasy.
products. It's
Yeah.
so much
It doesn't bother
easier.
me.
And then they changed it the next term. I mean, I don't know if it was based on my comment, um, but I was glad that it changed because
Yeah.
then I was like,
That's a positive change.
yeah, for me it was, I
Good.
didn't, I don't have a problem with not picking. I mean, I like when I get to, like you said, but it's equally fun just to be surprised.
It
Um,
is.
Sarah Liz says, I've been offered payment for videos from two companies. One was $20 and one was $50. It's an insulting dollar per hour for me. My videos take days.
Hmm.
Uh, I'd rather just take
Wow.
the product and companies I really like.
Yeah.
um okay, so I think I it's so funny. I yeah, if you here's the thing. If you work it out in terms of dollars per hour, the math will never
Oh,
compute. Yeah.
just won't
So,
work.
yeah, so the way I see it is just one of those things where it's is it better than nothing? Like cuz you're going to get the free product anyways, either way I would
Yeah.
presume, right? Um But I think it's different when you're getting, say, like $100 in product, but you don't have to necessarily work with all of that product.
No. Yeah.
So some of it is compensation, um,
Hmm.
because you're getting it as opposed without like the expectation that you have to use it and you have to make a card with every single thing you get. You have to use every single thing you get.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's so different. Every team is a little bit
Everybody's
different.
different. Mhm.
This is a good question. Blossom says, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in becoming a content creator? Thoughts on
Just
that,
do it.
Yvette? Just
Just
do
do it. Just get in there and do it. When I started, I thought, well, I have to get this, and my husband was so good. I'm gonna need a camera, and I'm gonna need this, and I just went on with this list of things I needed, and he said, okay, 5,000, is that enough to get you what you need? And I said, yeah, yeah, that'll work. And then um, somebody, I forget who, told me you don't need expensive equipment. You don't need the fanciest camera. You don't need fancy sound equipment. So just use your iPhone. I have an iPhone, and that's what I record with. Um, I bought these because my AirPods kept dying. So this lasts for like 10 hours, so I'm on charge. I don't have really fancy equipment. I have these lights back here and this stand to hold my phone up there, and that's pretty much it. Just just give it a try. But know when going into it, it's time. You're investing time because it's
Hmm.
not when you're doing videos, pre-recorded videos, you're doing a lot of recording, a lot of editing before you put the product out. And then there's a lot more to it. For example, I had to figure out how to make my thumbnails and how to make intros and outros and all those things go into it, and how to do the editing. And there's a learning curve, and there's no training for this. You just kind of I watched a bunch of videos and on how to you know record a YouTube video and how to upload it and how to do this and how to do that. But it's just do it. If you
Yeah.
if you enjoy doing it, and as to me, my husband asked me, "How long do you plan on doing this for?" And I said, "As long as I enjoy it.
Yeah.
If I stop having fun, I stop doing it."
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the key, right? You kind of
Mhm.
get into it for whatever your reasons are,
Mhm.
and even if those goals change, that's fine. But just make sure that you're still doing it for yourself, and that
Mhm.
you're doing it for your reasons, and
For your reasons.
um, yeah. So starting is probably, to your point, Yvette, the hardest thing. It's just you just need to do it. Like it's never going to be perfect is the thing, right? So
Never
so
gonna be perfect.
yeah, so there's like no such thing as a perfect video, and so just or a perfect live stream or perfect anything, right? So
Yeah.
uh kind of just do it and then learn from that, and then the next one will be better. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um That's funny. Yeah. So I had this up earlier. Danny says most of my craft room is because I saw something, said I did not need it, and then saw it several times more and decided I had to have it.
Had to have it.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I
Same thing.
mean, that's definitely that's how marketing works. That's like why commercials are commercials.
Mhm. Mhm.
um yeah, Danny, so I hear you on that, and I think that there's like I have opinions about the I have opinions about it. But I
Yep.
do think that it depends a lot. Like if so long as it feels fair. And what's fair for one person may not be fair for another person. But I
Exactly.
know teams where yeah, you can pick what you want to work with, but if you pick the thing, you need to use it, and you
Mhm.
need to, because
Mhm.
the whole point is they need samples showing how to
Mhm.
use it. But that doesn't always
Exactly.
mean a video. Sometimes that's just make a thing, share the thing. And
Share the
that's
thing. Mhm.
yeah, that's not as much work as make a video of you making the thing. Um, and then sometimes it's not like a one to one. Sometimes it's you just have to use them all, but you can use
Right.
two, three on a single
Or
project.
3 in the same project. Mhm.
Yeah. So it really just depends, but I get why that's a requirement from the business side, and it's fair for them. That's what they need for their business. But
Mhm.
so it just depends, what you're expected. And I feel, to be honest, I feel like it would be unreasonable to be like every single product you get, you have to make a video for is kind of insane. Because, even like a
Especially if it's a
20,
large
30.
release.
Right. And
Mm.
to Sarah Liz's point, I mean, she was saying Jennifer McGuire won't work for cash. I mean, she doesn't need to at this point. Her platform is large enough. I don't know her journey as a creator, if she would have, when she first started, but she's in a very different stratosphere where she doesn't need to. Uh she has a lot of marketing, like she's valuable herself as a brand and as a
Yeah.
creator, and she can afford to be more picky about the brands she
Be
works with.
selective. Hmm.
Yeah, and you know I'm sure she makes very good money. So without companies paying her, and maybe they do. I don't know her situation. If I were a
Hmm.
company, I would pay her if but I think
Oh yeah.
she is. Yeah, it would be worth it whether she operates that way or not. Because I think she's very authentic and she'll only craft with something she truly enjoys.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's my read. I don't know her personally, but I'm sure everybody would love for her to craft with their thing. So yeah. Hey Charlene, welcome friend. Um,
Especially.
so yeah, I think I'm kind of caught. This has been such a great conversation. Pretty caught up, I think, on. Oh, here we go. Question. Christina says, just thought I would say hi. Been watching for most of it. What do you use to edit your videos?
I use iMovie.
Oh, so you're a Mac person.
I'm a Mac person. Yes, I am. I am. I am.
Yeah. I'm a Windows person. We can still be friends. Um,
Okay.
but I use video editing software called Wondershare Filmora. Used to be
Hmm.
it used to be a really good deal, but of course, as with everything, it costs more and more these days. Well, that was a great discussion on just
Really was.
your favorite and your least favorite thing. I think we've touched on this maybe a little bit, but what goes into, like, if you had to pick your perfect, paint the picture of your ideal perfect design team, what does that look like?
Um, I would have to say organized, flexible, and um, good communication. I think communication is important. Uh, Setting out the expectations and responding when there are questions or concerns. So I think that would be the ideal team, regardless of how many videos or posts or anything is required. None of that really matters there's if it's not organized and there's not good communication and if there's no flexibility, because real life happens, and sometimes there's nothing you can do to
Right.
change what has happened in real life, and that affects the schedule you may have for your videos. So I think that would be, and I think I'm on a few teams that are like that already. So I think that's why my ideal team. I know that. Yay, Charlene. I think that
Wait, did you see
that's
this
important.
one? How about this
I saw it.
one?
I intentionally ignored it. Intentionally.
I saw there was no
I used
shout
to be a
out for
Windows
Sarah
person.
Liz.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I just think that's important. I think in any realm, communication is important, no matter what you're doing. You just have to be able to discuss things and to share concerns, or to ask questions if you're unclear on what the expectation is.
So you really just want a team that doesn't mess with your planner once.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You
You want a
know how
team.
I love my Excel spreadsheet. Gotta
Yeah.
have those,
You're like,
you know.
you're like, my perfect team plays nice with my planner and plays nice with my
Mm,
Excel sheets.
hey, check with me first.
I love it.
That's how I am.
That's so perfect. Okay, so starting to wrap up a little bit here. This will be our last question, but for anyone out there who might be watching and has never had experience on a design team, what would be your number one advice to them?
make sure you're going to work with a company that you love their product. Even if you don't necessarily have any of it, you've seen it in use, and that seems like something you would love to work with. Um, because there's nothing worse than getting a product and it's not something you absolutely love. You can make it work, but I think it comes across in the video if you really like something. It comes out of us when we're recording and when we're talking about the product. So make sure research the company and look at their products, and is this something I like, and is this something I would buy, that I would spend my money on? Because that's important. I think it's important to like what you're working with.
So then circling back, because we started this with your very first design team experience having not crafted with their product. How
Mhm.
did how did you know that then? Like, or did you
No,
take your own advice even back then?
did not. I was just excited that, yay, I'm gonna be on a design team, and then, yay, I'm gonna get free stuff that I didn't know I was gonna get. I had no idea. And so I mean, they have cute stuff. That first design team, they had cute stuff. So I got lucky in that aspect. But had their stuff been stuff that I didn't really like, that would have been very difficult for me. Um, I just I was fortunate that it worked out that way.
You got lucky.
I got lucky.
um,
I got lucky all around because I had no idea it was going to be free product. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't research. I just threw my hat in the ring, and it worked out.
so then, so your advice would be then um, to maybe visit their website if you've never crafted with
Visit their
their.
website, maybe their YouTube channel. Take a look at what their products are like, in action. You want to
So
see if
then,
that's something.
like, would you advise somebody? So let's say, you know, I see a design team call for
Hmm.
from XYZ brand. Would you
Hmm.
advise me to make a purchase, buy something, craft with it, and you know,
Not necessarily make a purchase. Look at their things. Look at their website. If it's something that intrigues you, by all means, make a purchase. But um, I think by looking at the products and looking at their YouTube channel, if they have a YouTube channel, and most of the companies do, look at their products in action. See what they look like when they're being used. Listen to the design team members that are currently on their team. Listen to uh, how much they enjoy the product. You can kind of tell.
oh,
It comes through. It comes through when someone's like, okay, so here's stamp set ABC, and you can make this card with it, and I hope you like my video. Versus, check this out, look at this cute little image, and you can do this, and you can do that,
yeah,
and it kind of comes across. So that's why if I get a product that I'm not thrilled about, I try and, okay, step back away from it, think of some ideas, because you don't want to come across as, this is okay.
right, right.
I would say take a look.
Good advice. I think that's really good advice. Because you don't want to. I mean, you want to put your best foot forward. Ultimately,
Exactly.
if like
Hmm.
assume you're gonna get the role. So,
Right. Right.
um, so
And I've
if
seen design team calls and looked at their products and said, I'm going to pass on this one, and not applied.
yeah,
So.
and a lot of times I think that so then kind of going into that a little bit though, if like if I think about certain brands, some of them have such a strong aesthetic,
Hmm.
and if I as a designer don't fit into that aesthetic, should I still apply? Because like even though I love their stuff, um, would you still recommend that somebody, because, I love their stuff. They may not love how I would use their stuff because if I look at
I mean, if
everything on their
I
website,
say if
it
you
feels
right, in a different aesthetic, but I think if you love their stuff, apply. Then they'll decide if you're a fit for their team.
right.
And if they think you're a fit for their team, because they go and look at our videos and our Instagram posts and they go and look at our stuff before they decide. And if they've taken you on, it's because they decide you are a fit, whether it be because you will match that aesthetic or you'll bring something fresh and new to their product.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's really awesome advice for everybody. Kind of know what you're getting yourself into, basically. Um,
Mhm.
so as we kind of start to wrap up here, what besides design team stuff that you're doing, what are you up to these days? How have you been keeping busy? Do you have stuff that you'd like to
Ah,
promote that's coming up while we've got everybody here?
well, there's all my design team stuff that's coming up. I go live every Tuesday. And then next week, I believe it's Wednesday, I am teaching one of the master classes. And mine is gifts, holiday gifts, and decor. And so I had a lot of fun doing that because I kind of had to think of, okay, I'm not going to make a card. I'm going to do something different. What am I going to make? So I had fun putting that together. I kind of had to stop and think, and a lot of times that's a process in itself. And a lot of times when I do my most of my brainstorming is when I go to bed and I'm so tired and I want to go to sleep, and then an idea pops in my head, so I don't go to sleep. So then I write it down, and then I think so then I'm up till 2 in the morning. But it, yeah,
This
I
is why
just
you need craft supplies next to your bed so you can just make the
next
thing.
to my bed.
See?
I know. I just so much stuff in my room right now.
Brilliant.
But
How much
yeah, I'm teaching
time would
that.
I
That's gonna
save
be
you?
fun.
um,
If I just did that and made the things while in bed.
yeah. So this is what Yvette is talking about here. Her class. So I can't believe it's coming up next
I
week
know.
already.
Yay.
So yes, next Monday, a week from today, in fact, is the start of the Easy Holiday Crafting Masterclass Week. And this is a series of workshops that some of my amazing crafty friends like Yvette are teaching. And this is Yvette's class. You will have probably seen links to the mystery box because there's 3 different ways that you can enroll in Yvette's class, which is like, look at all the things she's teaching: gift bags, personalized tags, place setting, ornaments. I mean, all things. I know it's only October, but a lot of us are focused on the holidays right now. So, I
Planning
mean,
ahead. We're planning ahead.
You've been doing your grandbaby albums since like the beginning of the year,
Since
it feels.
January.
Yeah.
Still not done.
So
And then I added another project. So
so some of us have started well before now, but if this is a good time to kind of get a lot of ideas for your holiday crafting. We're gonna have a lot of different classes, and for each different class, there's 3 different ways that you can enroll in the class. You can just get the class, that one individual class by itself. You can get the all access pass, which includes all 7 classes. So from next Monday, the 21st through the 27th, each day, one class will kind of have its initial airing. So in during that initial airing, and 2 of the classes are actually recorded live. But during the first airing, we'll have a live chat so you can talk, and if the instructors are available to be in the chat, then you can ask them questions, and there'll be a nice kind of fun experience. But all of these classes will be available on demand afterwards, so you can get this even after masterclass week. but like to make an event of the first airing of all of these classes. And so Yvette's class is on the 23rd at 4 p.m. Pacific. The last way, and this is going to be kind of your best deal, is you can buy a mystery box, and we're going to throw in there for free an all access pass. So you get all 7 of the classes, which valued at $175 if you just add up the price of all of those classes. But even buying the all access, it's hugely marked down. But we're going to toss all of that in for free with a mystery box of actual craft goodies. So physical products that will be sent to you. It's mostly, and I can do an unboxing of this for anyone who would like to see. So let's do that real quick. And so here is a box, and this is just one example. We have about a dozen left, I think, and once they're done, they're done, because I'm not a company, I don't produce anything. So what you're gonna get when you buy a mystery box is some handmade cards from the instructors who are teaching at this masterclass. So how come I don't have any of your cards in here, Yvette?
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's weird. I picked a box that doesn't have any of your cards in here. That was very rude of me.
Very, very, very rude.
My apologies, but you will get. I'll have to reorganize these cards. You will get some cards from Yvette. Every time I've done an unboxing on my channel, by the way, it's been a different box, just so that I can show you. If you go back and watch any of my I've only ever done these unboxings live, so go back and watch various other live streams. You'll see unboxings, but you're gonna get some actual craft supplies, and it's gonna come from a variety of different brands. So we've got a stencil, 3D embossing folder, pixie dust designs. For the most part, these are going to be new, but some of them might be very gently used, and some might be new in their packaging, and some might be new but not in their original packaging. It just depends, because sometimes as designers who craft with a lot of things, the first thing some of us do is kind of take it out and put it in our own storage system. And so you might find, like, these are Crafter's Companion, and they're actually new, but they're from Gaz, who shipped them to me from the UK, and he wanted to ship as much as possible. And so he took them all out of their original packaging so that he could ship me more. And this is one of Yvette's. I love her system. What do the dots mean? I've been wanting to ask you.
So the green dot means I put it in my spreadsheet, and the orange dot means it has a coordinating die.
Oh my gosh. Look at how organized she is, folks. It does indeed have a coordinating die. Her system works. And what's really great is that, I mean, some of these companies, some of these products are retired, and so you might not even be able to find some of these gems anymore. And Charlene says, Yvette, my organized little heart loves you. I know, for real, right? I feel the same. Then you'll get a zipper pouch with my Easy Wonder Masterclass. Although we've changed the name, it's Easy Holiday Crafting Masterclass, but a nice little zipper pouch of lots of goodies. This one happens to have a Nuvo drop. Not all of them will have the same things, but some embellishments, tags. This one has some action wobblers, sample of ribbon, and then everybody's going to get a collectible button pin for this masterclass. And so you'll have that. It's a nice large, I mean, look at how much I was able to fit in this. It's a nice large pouch. And then you're going to get the equivalent of 2 full paper pads, but they're not going to actually be 2 full paper pads in the sense that you're going to get actually a variety, a pack of papers. So what I've done is taken, usually I aimed for 4 sheets from each paper collection. And so you'll have papers from different brands, and you'll have papers from different paper pads within that brand. So that was Cat Scrappiness. This one is Not Too Shabby. And because you're not gonna get like a single sheet from one paper collection. You'll get 3 to 4. That way, when you craft, you'll have some coordinating papers to craft with from the same collection. And it's a nice little sampler so that you can actually try out these different brands and see what you like. And I always think it's kind of nice to have like bite-sized amounts of things and then you're done, kind of done with it. And so I think it'll be easy to kind of smash these papers because it's a workable amount. Like 4 sheets, you could 4 sheets, you can get yourself through most of a KCC challenge. So
pretty much.
Yeah, you just need to add a couple more sheets and for anyone who wants it, the link that's in the chat is Yvette's affiliate link, because I do have an affiliate program where folks like Yvette who have contributed to this or helped to promote it can earn affiliate money. So that was the first one. So it's 24 sheets. That's the first one. This is the second one. One of them will always have some coordinating ephemera with the papers. And again, it's going to be a combination of different paper collections from different brands. There's some from Basic Gray, Not Too Shabby, My Favorite Things. Some of the boxes have Graphic 45, Echo Park, Doodlebug. Like I've got brands from all over the place, and a lot of them, like Polka Doodles, I don't always know where they all came from. Some of them I recognize, some I don't, and some were kind of donated to me by the instructors of this masterclass. Now, the contents in these mystery boxes have nothing to do with masterclass. It's just a way for us to basically de-stash some of the goodies that have been sitting around in our craft rooms that, the reality is we're not going to get around to crafting with them. If we're being really honest with ourselves. And so we'd much rather see them go to, a nice home where they can get used. And with the holidays coming up, if you have crafty friends that, you don't know what's in their stash, you don't know what to get them, this might be a great thing to pick up, because you can maybe fish through this and keep the things that you want to keep and then gift the things that maybe your friend might like to craft with. So it's kind of a nice and who doesn't like a grab bag, who doesn't like a mystery box. So let's count up as we put things back. So we have the equivalent of 2 full paper pads, a pouch full of different things to kind of decorate with, and fun tags and whatnot. We've got a rubber stamp set from Stampin' Up. 1, 2, 3, and some of these are stamp and dies, but we'll say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 12 goodies. Some of those were stamp and dies, which maybe count double in some people's math. So a lot of items. Plus, on top of that, some handmade cards by us. These are cards not signed. So these are cards with their coordinating envelopes for you to use, for you to give. And for anyone who buys a box today, well, depending on if there's multiple orders, I'll make more. But if anyone buys a box today, I will throw this in. And I'm planning on making more that are Christmas themed. So if there are multiple orders today, everybody will have one. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if I want to commit to that just in case there's like a flood of orders. But this is a folio that is, this one happens to be Halloween themed. And it's just a set of cards. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 Halloween cards that I made with 4 envelopes. And then, you can use these. You can re-gift this if you want. Use these to send out. And then you'll have a folio to store whatever it is you'd like to store. So I'm about to make at least a couple more Christmas-themed ones. And so if anyone orders a mystery box today, I'm going to throw one of these in on top of everything that you see there. So get your orders in. And use Yvette's link if you order so that she gets the commission.
That is such a neat box, Lynn. I just can't. So I want to order one.
I was thinking that too. I was like going through the stash of what everybody sent to me, and I was like, oh, I should ask if I am allowed to keep this. Because
that's a full box.
It is a really full box, and I say I'm gonna give that, but I think I can still close it. I think it'll fit. But yeah, it's a very full box, folks. I mean, this is it's over 3 pounds. And it's it's hard to tell. But it's like how many inches is this? It's 3 inches deep is the box. So really super grateful to all of the instructors for teaching at masterclass and for contributing to the mystery box. Lala had the pouch custom printed for us, and so it's all made it very, very special. So really, I can't promise that every future masterclass is going to have a custom pouch. That was a very one-time thing. So whoever gets these boxes are going to be really lucky because Lala can't teach at every single master class. So as much as I would love her to, but the classes are pretty awesome. Oh, I want to show this. Can I show this? So some folks have asked me about this card. It's what I'm calling a hidden shaker card. So you can hear the bits, but you can't see the bits until you pull this out and the bits fall down. So this is part of one of the classes that I'm teaching. I've never flipped my Easy Wonder Times before. And for folks who are familiar with my channel, I do flip videos of the Spellbinders Club kits. And before that, I used to do flips of the Tonic Studio kits. And I flip things just randomly sometimes too. I've never flipped my own Easy Wonder dies. And so I'm actually teaching 2 classes, one on mask card making and one to flip my my Easy Wonder Dies, and this is my interactive card that I'm teaching. I do not have a tutorial of this on my YouTube channel. So for folks who have asked me, do I have a tutorial on this? I do. It's part of the masterclass series. And not to say that I'm the only one who's ever made this, but that's how you can see me teach this. And I'm sure you could Google for YouTube search for other designers who've created it. But the benefit of a masterclass is that we are teaching our classes in real time. So instead of like a super
Mm-hmm.
sped up video, like Yvette was saying, that's like 3 hours of footage, that the reality is nobody's gonna watch us for 3 hours on YouTube, because I mean that's just generally not what people are looking for. Like they're looking to kind of
Mm-hmm.
get, 15, 20, 30 minutes maybe and get onto the next
Right.
thing. And so the luxury of a masterclass is that we have all the time in the world. We can take our time to really talk through everything, and we can really like focus on all of the details and take our time showing you exactly how to do it. And you can actually see us move in real time, which, because you know how a lot of times, I don't know about you, I watch other people's videos to learn how to do things, and it's a lot of pause, rewind, especially when there's like a tricky part.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not like that with the masterclass. To I think everybody has gotten the sense that I do believe that there's value in what we do as designers, as content creators, and masterclass is an opportunity for me to create a platform where not only I can teach and maybe get compensated, but as well invite other amazing designers and creators like Yvette to teach and share her knowledge, share how she approaches things, share her wisdom and her experience and what she's learned and her aesthetic and her style of creating. And it's not just about trying to promote a certain product. It's not just about trying to push the latest and greatest of anything. It's not even about a specific product. I mean, we want you all to be to hopefully take away from the each masterclass something that you can take into your next project, whatever it is. Certainly, it would be great, for you to learn, how to make this specific card, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you walk away with just some general principles that are also valuable that you can apply to whatever your next project is. And that's what masterclass is all about. It's becoming a better crafter, learning our craft together and teaching each other. I'm really excited to learn about, and it's not just cards. Like Yvette's class is like you saw the list of things Yvette's teaching. It's how to take your craft to this whole other level and in other ways. And for example, Lala's going to be teaching a class on memory keeping holiday album, and I actually just got finished like reviewing all of her class materials. It's pretty amazing. So really, really excited for all of that. So I hope you all can join if you want to learn more. Pop on over to my website and start that journey here with the mystery box and click whatever you do. Just start with that link so that if you have cookies set, then whether you make a purchase now or 30 days from now, that will get credit for it. And so, because like I feel for companies, I don't mind being transparent with you all. I didn't pay any of the instructors for their time to make this amazing content for Masterclass Week. And I wish I had the disposable income to pay them what their time is worth. And so for me, the best I can do is offer them, as generous of an affiliate compensation as I can. and offer them profit share if I make a profit. So that's how I'm compensating them. But for them to be compensated, I need you to use their links. So use Yvette's link, please, and that way we can all get her paid. So, um, but thank you, my friend, because I do value
Oh,
you,
thank you.
tremendously, more than I can say, because you're so talented, and for you to share your time, to take up precious planner space, I feel is a blessing and an honor.
You were in the planner.
I was in the planner.
Oh,
I could
you
I could
made
check
it.
that off. I made it. I know. But I do want, and if you are out there and you're a creator and you like teaching and you think you might be interested in contributing to a masterclass in the future, let me know. I'm already planning my next one, but I'll be planning them in more and more advance. And as I mentioned, I want this to be a framework, a platform for creators who want to make money, creators who want to, take their time teaching and not, because you can still do whatever you do on YouTube if that's your thing, but it's a very different thing, these master classes, because we have the luxury of time. And so I really hope that you all like it. And our next one is on masculine makes, and that'll be next February. But the hope is by the end of next week, we'll have open enrollment for that. So by the end of this masterclass week, you can already enroll in hopefully the next one that's coming up in February. And I think Masculine Makes is going to be a really fun one. I'm very, very excited for those classes. So I can't wait to premiere those with and announce them next week. So join us. All right, friends, I'm going to
Yay.
give Yvette you the last word. Do you any parting remarks? Any final goodbyes?
Just thank you all for being here. Thank you, Lynn, for doing this. You have been so helpful, so organized, a girl after my own heart. And it really makes it easy to get things done. And I can do my best. And I know I don't have to worry about scheduling and such. So I appreciate you. I appreciate all our friends watching. I appreciate each and every one of you more than you'll ever know. So thank you.
Oh. Thank you, my friend. And before I let everybody go, this has been put into the live chat, but do pop on over to Yvette's channel. She is Yvette Olea Creates here on YouTube, and you want to check her out because she posts so many videos to her channel. She's a busy, busy crafter, this one. And not only that, she goes live every Tuesday on her channel, so you have an opportunity to chat with her and get to know her better from her own live stream. So tune into that every Tuesday. And she goes live as a guest on multiple different people's channels. So you'll find Yvette everywhere because she's a good booking as a guest. Everybody wants Yvette on their channel. So
So sweet. Oh, thank you.
thank you, my friend. All right. Thanks for doing face cam with me as well.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
How do I end my stream?